Chapter 3. Sessions, Getting Started and Getting Finished. The first day of the odd-year regular session. In odd-numbered years, the Kentucky General Assembly convenes a regular session of not more than 30 legislative days. During the first week of this session, the members take the oath of office. The Senate and the House of Representatives each then selects leaders, adopts rules of procedure, appoints committees for the session, and considers legislation.
Getting organized. The first day of the odd-year session convenes at noon. Although the exact order may vary, the usual order of business on opening day is as follows. 1. The President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of the previous session call to order their respective chambers. 2. A member of the clergy opens the session with prayer. Following the prayer, members recite the Pledge of Allegiance. 3. The chief clerks of the preceding session serve as acting clerks in opening the session. They read communications from the Secretary of State certifying the duly elected senators and representatives. 4. The acting clerks call the roll of senators and representatives. 5. Newly elected senators and all representatives produce their certificates of election and take the oath of office prescribed by the Constitution. 6. Nominations are made from the floor of each chamber for election to the office of President of the Senate or Speaker of the House. The President and Speaker are elected, and the acting clerk of the respective chamber appoints a committee to escort the presiding officer to the chair. Appreciation is expressed, and a justice of the Supreme Court administers the oath of office. The Senate then elects a President pro tempore and the House elects a Speaker pro tempore. 7. Nominations are made for election to the office of Chief Clerk, Assistant Clerk, Enrolling Clerk, Sergeant-at-Arms, Doorkeeper, Janitor, Cloakroom Keeper, and pages of each house. These officers are elected and administered the oath of office. 8. The majority and minority floor leaders, caucus chairs, and whips, previously elected in party caucus, are announced. 9. Each house adopts resolutions dealing with internal organization. These resolutions include such subjects as inviting pastors of Frankfurt churches to open the daily sessions with prayer and adopting rules of procedure for the session. 10. Each house proceeds with the regular order of business. Any suits to contest elections of General Assembly members are decided at this session. The house to which the member belongs must, within 3 legislative days after its organization, select a board of from 5 to 9 members to hear the contest. The board reports back to the Senate or House, which is the final judge of the qualifications and election of its members. The member in whose favor the contest is decided is then seated. To see this in action, please view the Kentucky House and Senate opening day videos.
Orientation for new members. Preceding the odd-year regular session, the Legislative Research Commission conducts an orientation session for new members of the General Assembly. This orientation is designed to acquaint new members with legislative and parliamentary procedures. The experiences of veteran legislators. Relationships with members of the media, lobbyists, and the executive branch of state government. The Legislative Ethics Commission, and services offered by LRC staff and by the clerk's offices. Interim committee activity. As part of the business of organizing the odd-year session, current committee chairs report on the issues that have been discussed and other committee activities that have been undertaken since the last regular session.
The first day of the even-year regular session. The opening of a regular session in an even-numbered year is less ceremonial than is the beginning of the odd-year session. Since officers and leadership have been selected at the previous session, the presiding officers need simply to call the respective chambers to order and proceed through the regular order of business. Certain organizational first-day resolutions are necessary, however, in order to adopt rules, to invite Frankfurt pastors to offer invocation, and to appoint a committee to wait upon the governor. The governor's message. The governor likely will plan to address a joint session of the General Assembly early in the regular session. The procedure for that occasion is described as follows. 1. A member of the committee appointed to wait upon the governor reports that the governor is ready to address the General Assembly. 2. The Senate then proceeds to the House of Representatives chambers, and the two houses are convened in joint session, with the President of the Senate presiding. The session is opened with prayer. The roll of the joint session is usually not called. 3. The joint committee previously appointed to wait upon the governor appears with the governor on the floor of the House. 4. The governor delivers an address to the General Assembly, which is broadcast by radio and television and printed in the journal of each House. 5. The joint session is then dissolved.
Concluding the regular session. The Constitution limits a regular session in an even-numbered year to 60 legislative days, and in an odd-numbered year to 30 legislative days. Such days are defined as calendar days, exclusive of Sundays, legal holidays, and any days on which neither house meets. A regular session may not extend beyond April 15th in an even-numbered year, or March 30th in an odd-numbered year. Because days on which neither house meets are not counted as legislative days, the General Assembly may recess with 2 or 3 legislative days remaining in the session and return some days later to consider bills that have been vetoed by the governor. In addition, the 2 legislative days immediately prior to the veto recess are usually reserved for concurrence in amendments proposed by the opposite house and final passage by the House of Origin.